I think my journey started where I was a young person and I got to question a lot of my life choices, values, everything. And I had just finished college and I didn't know what I wanted to do. Young people are always told, don't talk, don't ask questions, don't raise your voice, don't talk back, listen to elders, always be good, follow all of this. I had a problem with the fashion industry always, like the amount of waste that is generated, the amount of violence that exists in the industry in itself. I felt like I don't agree with it, but I studied it.
In that matter, we could see that in other metropolitan cities such as Delhi, Bombay, they're quite open to it, even in Bangalore. But in Hyderabad, we don't really see that.
There wasn't a place in Hyderabad that really co-created conversations with young people. We ourselves were then very young. There was no space to voice what we wanted. There was no space to form an opinion about issues that matter, about sex, sexuality, politics, religion, all of these important issues in the world. In March this year, we should prepare to shut down.
Hi everyone, we welcome you to our very first episode of The Impact Lens, Framing Stories That Matter. I'm your host Lakshmi Sumana, and today we have with us Monisha Rubaroo, the co-founder and CEO of Rubaroo. Hi Monisha, ela unnaru?
Hi Lakshmi, I'm very well, thank you.
Yes. So how's your day so far?
It has been a good day so far. We just got back from one workshop, so a little tired, but energized from hope, if I may say.
Okay. So Monisha, for the viewers that don't really know you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
So, my name is Monisha, like you already introduced. I'm from Hyderabad, very much belong and feel belongingness to the city. So, very Hyderabadi, if I may say. I always wonder what I should answer to this question. So, I'm part of an organization called Rubaroo, why we are here today. And I think my journey started where I was a young person and I got to question a lot of my life choices, values, everything. And it really shaped a volunteering experience that really shaped who I am today and the work that I do every day.
Okay.
I don't know if I answered anything.
You did. Yeah. You did. Yeah. Okay. So could you tell us about Rubaroo? Like, what is the founding story of it? And what drives you to work along with Rubaroo, and what is it like to be a part of Rubaroo?
So when we started Rubaroo, it's been 12 years now, if I may say 10 to 12 years now. There wasn't a place in Hyderabad that really co-created conversations with young people. We ourselves were then very young. We just had finished college, and many of us in the founding team. So there were many people who came together, and it came from the idea that our own life experiences as young people, there was no space to voice what we wanted. There was no space to form an opinion about issues that matter. Young people are always told, don't talk, don't ask questions, don't raise your voice, don't talk back, listen to elders, always be good, follow all of this. And it became very important for us to understand that while we talk about a lot of identities, right, there's caste, religion, there's gender, all of these identities also are there's marginalization in all of these identities. But with age, something that as an identity and discrimination that age we see is, it is changing constantly, but young people, whoever is younger than anybody, always has to sort of listen to anybody in the name of respect. And we realized that because that kind of space never existed, there's no safe space for young people, whether to talk about sex, sexuality, politics, religion, all of these important issues in the world. Young people are not encouraged to be part of the discussion. So I was on an exchange program I have told this story so many times in my life, but I was on an exchange program when I finished college. For 6 months, I lived in a grassroots community, and it really shaped me because it got me to think of things that I had never thought of. The privilege that I came with, I never was able to look at that privilege and say, what does that privilege even mean? So, what is my role in society? What is my role as a citizen in the country, in the world, not just in the country? So, even my other co founders, like as young people, I think we always rebelled. We didn't agree with what our parents were telling us, but there was no space to voice that disagreement or that rebellion, or you can call it adolescent anger, also sometimes. So, that was one of the key reasons we said Hyderabad does not have a space like this. We need to create a space where young people can figure out who they are and what they want from their own life without any pressure. So we started with that intention, and over the years we realized that not just youth, but there are critical issues, like especially in Hyderabad, there's gender, which is very, very, which everybody has as an identity, and there is constantly a discrimination or a violence or something that everybody experiences. Men, women, queer, everybody. We're not saying necessarily only violence against women, but everybody in the world experiences the pressure of needing to fit into a certain gender, whether or not they want to. We work on interfaith also. There's a lot of polarization that exists because of religion, caste, identities. And how do we take responsibility of building friendships without caring about an identity? Like, why does it matter who you are and what your family practices?
Yes.
We're two people in the world, and we should not allow that into our friendship. So that is another issue that we work with, interfaith. And the third is youth agency, like I shared about the context of young people. I think that's something. So we also, over the time, have started working on issues of citizenship, climate action, mental health, all of these as well. But that's a little bit about Rubaroo and the work.
That's amazing. So talking of gender, Monisha, I've noticed that if we were to talk about the LGBTQ communities or anything else in that matter, we could see that in other metropolitan cities such as Delhi, Bombay, they're quite open to it, even in Bangalore. But in Hyderabad, we don't really see that. I have a lot of friends. They probably do belong to Pride and in that community, but they're still like in the shelf, like they're not really comfortable coming out of it. So what do you have to say about it? Like,
I think Hyderabad is a big queer community. In the last decade, having worked in Hyderabad, in the space of the city so much more, I think it's there. It's there in every city, I will say. In maybe say Delhi and Bombay, or Delhi and Bombay, maybe there's a little bit more loudness, maybe.
Yeah.
To it, huh? But I will not say it's not there. It's also there in Hyderabad. It is very much prevalent. It exists. And I think it's not just about the city, but it's also about social conditioning, especially around queer identities. There's no space to be whoever I want to be. I want to explore even. And there's no right or wrong way. There's no way to say that I should always announce myself. Same like religion or caste or language or region. I don't necessarily always need to announce my religion or my caste.
Absolutely.
And same with queerness also. I don't always need to announce it. I think it's important as an identity to exist. It's important as an identity to claim space. But at the same time, there are so many, because even within the binary, when we talk about it, even within the male-female binary, there is so much pressure anyway by society to fit into some box of what it means to be masculine or feminine. So, of course, when the most socially accepted binary itself has so much pressure, the queer community is also then, we are also breaking out of that boundary so much more. And when we are doing that, it becomes even more important to find safety to express. So it's a journey, if not anything else. Yeah.
So Manisha, based on what you've said, I found two leads. The first one being where you talked about your exchange program. Could you tell us more about your exchange program and how it has shaped you and gave you the motivation to start something like Rubaroo?
So when I was on that exchange program, I applied to it very randomly. Somebody sent me a form and said, "Hey, see, you like traveling. This seems to be something of interest. Why don't you sign up?" So I signed up, and I didn't know what to expect. I had just finished college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I studied fashion design, but I knew I had a problem with the fashion industry always, like the amount of waste that is generated, the amount of violence that exists in the industry in itself. I felt like I don't agree with it, but I studied it. But after I finished, like there were so many things like that in my life that I didn't agree with something and I continued to do it. Or I didn't feel like I could fight against it, like whether it was at home with family or with relatives or with just social expectations. So that exchange program, when I was there, it was just a 6 months of living in a grassroots community, living in two grassroots communities, and living with some pause and reflection, where we talked about conversations on our life, understanding development, understanding social structures, and they really got me thinking to this whole definition of what is development. Like I think um, over time, I think my definition of what is development has changed, and my anger has increased since then, which I think is great because anger is important to change the world. Um, and I think also through that experience, it really helped me say that. So it was a joyful experience. It was an impactful experience. So both of them together, and it really said that, like for me, it became that I wanted to do more of this. I wanted to become a facilitator and just facilitate conversations on different issues in the world with andartho, like not necessarily only with young people, but with everybody who wanted to learn something. And that's really that was really the beginning. Like in the first 2 years when I finished that exchange program, I worked as a facilitator with different organizations, with different groups, youth groups. And then when my colleague and co-founders and other friends also were moving to Hyderabad, that's when I'm from Hyderabad. That this is all happening in Delhi. So then I said, yeah, I also want to join. We should join together and start something. So yeah.
Great. You also spoke about the privilege. So I remember going to a grassroots village once. It's in Satna district, Madhya Pradesh. So I was there for some work, and I was living with. I had to rent out a place because they didn't have a proper infrastructure to kind of even like stay and stuff. I cannot admit how much I agree with you on the fact of feeling privileged, because we come from a metropolitan city. We have all the comforts with us, and then you realize that you're living in a city, you're living in a village right now, wherein like the smallest things are probably the luxury that they have. And it makes you really question, like, what is development? Like the development that we're hearing, is it really reaching the villages or not? So I would agree with you on the fact that it is a privilege to like be in a city and understand how privileged we are. And coming to the second lead,
before you ask this question, I also want to, if I can,
you can
talk a little bit about this somehow, like, because I don't know if it was very clear, but I don't think I mean privilege from the sense of having privilege, like for example, this city and the rural grassroots community. Like I feel in cities, I don't think we are privileged. Or basically, I'm not talking about that kind of privilege, but I really mean that the way of life in maybe a rural community is actually what is development than what a city is. Where we're talking about sustainable development, because it's not about the city versus the village, like for example. Yeah. So yeah, basically I'm trying to say that privilege is something that we are born with, because identities are something that we are born with, and that recognizing and saying that I have privilege because of a certain identity, and it gives me unconscious access to opportunity in life, and then separating from it is what I mean by privilege. Yeah.
Agreed. So the next question that I have for you is, has there been any moment or a situation in while you were working, like you're still working in Rubaroo, like has there been a situation where you felt as if, this is exactly why we're doing it and we should continue to do it?
So many. I think I think setting up an organization is an up and down journey. Like we when we started, we started with the intention to work with the young people, become facilitators. But over time, we realized there are so many logistical things that we've never thought of. We didn't think of, say, administrative, finance, fundraising, accounting, management, all those kind of things. So sometimes it can get exhausting, saying, "Arey, this paperwork is a lot of work," but it is needed to do the bigger work that we are doing, the impact work that we are doing. And most importantly, I think when we work with young people, for example, I just came back from a workshop, a residential workshop with a program that we're running on citizenship. And every time we work with young people, I think that's what is the biggest energizing space, because there's a lot of hope that we come away with. There's a lot of transformation that we work with, because it's not about, and the transformation is also so individual. There is no, it's not like a blanket transformation, or of saying that, I painted this wall, and before this wall is looking like this, and now the wall looks clean. It's not like that, but the journeys that we work with. So over the last 10 years, we just did our impact assessment, and over the last 10 years, we worked with 1,73,000 young people. And each of those journeys is what drives us every day. So
that's amazing. So you work with a lot of young minds. So when you initially start working with them, how are they in the beginning, and how do they transform by the end of the completion of a program, when a program finishes?
There's a lot of like I was saying, hope, because when we start, everybody starts with an awkwardness. Okay, that's the blanket awkwardness. Like even when we met, our first introduction is like, oh hi, who's going to break the ice, who's going to crack a joke, who's going to make the move to really build a friendship and a relationship. So a lot of times our initial groundwork when we work with young people is only focused on building relationship, where we're able to build trust, we're able to build compassion, where we're able to have conversations saying that we care about you, and we're here for you. Once we've established that, that's when we're able to then create spaces of confrontation to say that, the world is expecting us to be a certain way, but so what if you're not that way? What if you what if you fight against somebody that's asking you to do something? Because again, society says conflict is a negative word, like everything should be peaceful, everything should be happy, but conflict is really what has changed the world.
Absolutely.
Whether it's independence, whether it's protest, whether it's anything, to change the status quo, we need to fight. And that can be in an individual level, it can be in a building level, it can be in a peer group level, it can be in a community level, it can be in a state level, regional, national, it can go on. So that's really what it is, that creating space for that transformation means creating space to allow ourselves to fight. Because everybody, if usually like we do interviews with young people and we say, what do you do with conflict, and how do you fight? Most often the answer is no, I don't fight, I don't want to fight, because that's the answer we're told, even as in our parenting, as parents have told us that don't fight, everything should be,
we're conditioned to be silent, we're conditioned to accept the pain.
But moving from that is really what the transformation is.
So your statement exactly reminded me of a quote that I've read from The Art of War, I suppose. It was written by Radhakrishnan Pillai, and in the opening pages, he mentions that the true reason for war is to establish peace, and war does not have to mean proper war mechanics or to have some drones or something, but war could also be inner war or conflict that we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Because if we have conflict happening, that's when you're opening doors to peace,
Yeah.
where you could live peace with yourself and you could live in peace with the society and you could accept yourself for who you really are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what it is. You're looking at a long-term solution by fighting today.
You could calm yourself down for now, but how long could you calm yourself down for? You need to live with it, right? It's best to be vocal about it and accept it.
Yeah.
Okay. So through Rubaroo, how many lives have you impacted so far?
Yeah, so we just did our impact evaluation as our 10-year. We finished 10 years, and we sort of put it together. And one of our team members very conservatively put together a number as per what she says. So we worked with 1,73,000 young people.
That's
so far.
amazing. And first of all, congratulations for the completion of 10 years.
Thank you.
It's great. Like 1,73,000 is not a small number. So
yeah,
I'm really happy to see that you've impacted so many lives and you will be impacting so many more lives. So
Inshallah.
That's great to hear. So now to make it a little more interesting, I'd like to move to the next segment wherein I'll give you some stances. You have to share a story relating to it.
Some stances?
Yeah, I'll give you some situations or a statement and you'll have to share a relatable story. So the first one is, tell us a story of a young mind that you have worked with that has really impacted you.
Oh, okay. I will need some time to think of some of these.
Sure, take your time.
Okay. One participant who stayed with us for many years became a team member, and I think their story is something that I can share. I think a lot of, so when they started, they found the place very odd, saying, what are they trying to do? What are they talking about? Why are they dressed like this? What's going on in the office? Because a lot of times, in office, there's also sometimes a very fun, light vibe. So it can feel like it's not, say, strict or something like that.
Yeah.
But over the years, I think when that person went on to become a team member and started looking at their role also in the organization, there was a lot of fight that they continue to do every day in their life. And I think what I'm really proud of is for them to know that they can negotiate with their family every day, because initially all their life they just accepted that because they were a certain gender, they had to do certain things, that life would be a certain way, whether it was with the milestones of, say, education, marriage, children, that kind of thing. But for them to negotiate and say that, no, this is not the only thing in my life. I want to earn money. I want to be independent. I want to negotiate who I get married to. I want to fight for myself. I want to look after my own family, which is a basic something that somebody wants to do. But, sometimes women are not allowed to look after their own family because they're expected to look after their, partner's family more.
Yes.
So that one story is a transformational story that continues to stay with me, and I know that they're continuing to fight every day. Like even today, their fight is every day. Yeah,
that's amazing. So tell us one story where you felt that this is probably the most difficult situation that Rubaroo has ever gone through, but we'll still rise above the difficulty and we'll still do great.
I think one was COVID. COVID was a big speed breaker. I'll say speed breaker now, but when it happened, because like in hindsight, I know it was a speed breaker. But then when COVID did happen, see, we are an organization that doesn't work online. We are face to face. We are in person. The workshops happen in person. Conversations happen in person. Everything is in person. So for us to move online was very, very difficult. We didn't feel like there was we managed, we figured out strategies, we continued to do different things online. We continue to support young people and each other online, but it was still very, very difficult. And there was one point that we said that maybe by this end of this financial year, like in March this year, we should prepare to shut down, because we thought it's not. But of course, then things opened up. Vaccines came in. We were able to move on from it. So it definitely helped us. But I felt like that was one big place where we questioned, is it going to continue? Yeah.
Okay. So let us move to the final round. So we have a rapid fire round. I'll just ask you a couple of questions. Just
Okay.
answer what comes to your mind.
Sure.
The first question is Rubaroo in one word.
Joy.
Okay. One thing you love about working in Rubaroo.
The people.
Okay. A quote that is stuck with you.
A quote that has stuck with me. I think something when I used to think of many years ago, I think there was this one sentence called no, sorry, I don't want to use that. I can't think of something.
Okay, we'll move to the next question. Tea or coffee during a Rubaroo session?
During a Rubaroo session, oh my God, tea.
Okay. A happy moment in Rubaroo that you will forever cherish?
So many, like there are countless. Like I think hanging out with the team when we do annual retreats with the team, workshops, every camp, every workshop, every residential workshop that we've done. In fact, at Rubaroo, we have a list of funny things that happen during a workshop, just for us to look at it and laugh as a team together. So yeah, there are so many of those lists. It's very, very
Okay. Final
fun.
question. Walk us through your day, Manisha.
Walk us through my day. Oh my God. Every day is maybe different, but I usually plan my day before. So the previous day, just before I'm going to bed, I plan out what time I should reach office, what I should be doing. So I like to get into office as early as possible. Like I like to be one of the first two people to reach office, just so that I'm mentally able to clear my desk, clean a little, and not start in with a meeting, but prepare myself for the day a little. So I get up, I work out, I cook breakfast, lunch, and then get to office. And then usually I have certain tasks that I want to complete in that day. But there's also a lot of open space because I work with a lot of people. Then people have some questions or whatever, so I work with them, and then that's usually my day. And then evening, I either like to read or watch some TV, and then I cook again. So that's what I do. Yeah.
So now we're heading towards the end of our first episode. But Rubaroo is definitely doing a wonderful job, and we're really glad that you're able to create a lot of impact in people's lives, especially adolescents and young minds, where you're telling them that it's okay to conflict, it's okay to fight for yourself, it's
Yeah.
okay to find your voice. And we hope that Rubaroo still goes ahead and impacts many more lives. But as viewers, or as an individual myself, if I would like to help Rubaroo in any way, or if I would like to contribute to the services in Rubaroo, what can I do, or what can any average viewer do?
So depends on how much, what kind of involvement they want to get into. I think like one is volunteering spaces. If that's the question, like there's a lot of volunteering spaces that we have for like one-time things that we need solutions with. That's like online technology, helping us figure out a document, helping us figuring out converting a document into a youthful, joyful way. So there's a lot of this kind of work that we have that we often don't have the bandwidth to do. I think just spreading the word, like getting more people to get involved, stand in solidarity with the work that we're doing. Even as simple as like, share, subscribe, like spreading that and building that sometimes is great to have. and I think just connecting us with anyone and everyone, like, it's just great that it would be great that we're just a community of people, no matter where we are in the world. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so just to expand that community of Rubaroo, if I may say.
Great.
Yeah.
So finally, if you could send one message out to the youth and all the people who are viewing this episode, what would you have to say?
Trust yourself trust yourself before allowing social pressure to get to you.
Great. So now that comes to the end of our session, Monisha. Thank you so much for being a part of our very first episode, The Impact Lens. Through your stories and through the questions and answers that we've gotten from you, it truly makes us believe that we can create impact. Because at the end of the day, The Impact Lens focuses on framing impact and delivering it to each story at a time and through every episode. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Lakshmi. I think I'm very excited to be on the first episode of The Impact Lens. I think I'm very excited about the potential of the stories that will come in through The Impact Lens, and I think it's important work that is needed in the world. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.